everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to another Wednesday evening Sew and Chat.
Everyone is giving their updates on, or their tips on how to cure burns. Got peanut butter, mayo, butter, ice, eczema.
I don't think I usually ever really do anything when I burn myself except not be surprised that I burn myself again. I have all these handy little things too that are supposed to help you when you get really close, have to get really close to the iron, like those rubber finger things. So that you don't, but I just never use them.
So in case you missed it, I started a counter because we hadn't even really gotten into the live and my wife had already burnt herself. So the burn count is at 1 for now. Well, I'm sure we'll go up much higher as we get through the day.
Well, it's really small pieces on this project, so it's just going to happen probably.
They are tiny. Where's the one completed block?
Over here. You can show it. So I'm working on the Open Gate Quilt Tilted Charms pattern. This is a pattern that Monique designed, and it's really cute.
It is. Wow, I almost touched your iron.
Well, at least it would have been me, because everyone's worried about you there when I'm ironing.
Soap with goat milk apparently works well.
Goat
so
milk,
does
this is really nice.
mustard.
Okay.
Hey, Danelle, nice to see you.
So for the block, the little flower, it's so cute. So I'm making 3 red flowers and 3 blue flowers. And all of the red flowers have a little blue center. And then all the blue flowers have a red center. So on each of the red squares, I am sewing a blue square onto the corner and then cream little squares onto the 3 other corners. So that's what I'm working on right now on this red one.
Thank you, Melissa, for becoming a YouTube member. That's
thank
you. And to be clear, my wife said she's sewing blue corners. They're really sort of, to me, they're more green than blue. So
that's getting like way too. How's that green to you?
That is definitely
in the center. It's like a teal, maybe.
It's green. Lindsay wants to know if you've done a recent update on your UFOs.
No, I didn't, because for February, I only finished 1 quilt. I say only, but that's not honestly bad. But what I'm going to do is combine February and March together, because I got some more done this month, just because it wouldn't have been a very in-depth video. It'd have been pretty boring just showing 1 quilt that I got finished. But that's where I'm at.
It'd have been a really quick video.
Yeah, really quick to record.
It'd have been like a short.
It's just been a busy last couple of months, so.
Yeah, it really has. But I guess that's just what happens.
But now you know the spoiler for that update when I do it. There's only 1 from that month. And I think you all actually saw that one get finished, because I did the quilting on that one live. So it's not even like it's a surprise one that you have not already seen.
So it's Wednesday as usual. How's your week been, wife?
How's my week been?
Yes.
I'm surprised. Like, I feel like it's Friday. I'm surprised it's only Wednesday. Are any of you sewing the Tilted Charms as well?
Someone mentioned.
I will show. Somebody asked.
Mary Overbeck said her box arrived today, so she's excited for this.
Oh, yay. Somebody asked about how to sew on a hanger on the back of these wall hangings, and I didn't look ahead in the pattern to see if it gives any suggestions. It doesn't look like it does. So I'm not gonna be able to show it today because I'm not gonna finish it to get it quilted and all that. But once I get everything done, I'll do a video that shows how I put hangers on the back of, I need to make sure. So a tip to look out for in this pattern is that each of the petals, 2 of them, you're going to press these corners out, and then in 2 of them, you're going to press them in. So just look for that in the pattern. It notes it, and it'll help all the blocks come together better. So what I was saying is that I'll do a video showing how I put a hanger on later, since some have asked. Because if you didn't see my unboxing video, these all come with a cute little hanger. So
thank you, Zaza Alexandra. She joined as well.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah, this is really cool.
All right, so I have the 2.
Thank you, thank you. I was saying thank you to Alexandra, not you.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're welcome. Being really polite today.
Yeah.
Yes, but thank you for joining. We appreciate it.
So Linda wants to know when the pattern is coming out that you designed with the diamond.
So I meant to have it out this week. I was not able to. I think I mentioned the last week that I was working on a Missouri Star Quilt Company quilt. They asked me to be do they call it a brand ambassador? What did I put on there? I don't remember. For Missouri Star.
Yeah, I think it's brand ambassador.
So I had a project that I needed to finish for them, and it took me much longer than I thought. So that I'm going to work on this week, and hopefully it'll come out next week or the week after. I apologize. I meant for it to come out much sooner than this. So that is completely on me. I just misjudged how long it would take me to do the Missouri Star project, which comes out, I think I have it scheduled for Friday. So I'm excited for that one too. I do have, if you got the diamond template, that there is, I did a live showing how to work on that. So you'd at least be able to see how the blocks come together. But the pattern I'm planning to do will show different sizes for that block. And then the pattern will also have paper templates if you don't want to purchase the templates we make.
Yes, it will. I forgot about that, but yes. Because we've already designed the paper templates, because that's how we started with everything. So that'll be easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So the paper templates are all done. I just need to write up the charts showing how many cuts for the different sizes of blocks.
So I had to go into the city today for work, and just I can't. It's been a while since I've had to go into the city because I work from home. But man, traffic was stupid.
I can't even imagine because of how bad the traffic is around here.
Yeah.
Like I just can't even imagine going into downtown.
Well, I didn't even have to go downtown. I just had to go into the Galleria, which is like halfway there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it took you that long?
It took me over an hour and a half to get to the Galleria.
And you left early. So
I left at 6:30. Took me an hour and a half to get through traffic. And the Galleria is, I mean, it's far. It's not horrible.
Yeah, but it's easier because you can just, I mean, it's right there after you get off. Did you go down the...
I always avoid the...
Oh, yeah, because if there's an accident, you're never...
Where we live, we can either go on I-10 or we can go on the West Park Tollway. West Park Tollway is a 2-lane in each direction road that's separated by a center divide.
And you have to pay for the privilege to drive on it.
Paying,
well, no, but I mean, it's like, it's
stupid.
Just silly.
But the problem is there's only an exit every couple miles. So if there's ever an accident, like your hour commute turns into 4 hours because there's no way the 2 lanes are bordered by cement barriers, so there's no way to get off that road. So if you happen to get into an accident or get behind one, you're literally there forever because the emergency vehicles can't get there. The tow trucks can't get there because there's no room for cars to move out of the way. There's no shoulder on either side. So I avoid that road like the plague. I mean, it's almost always quicker to go down I-10 anyway. But
so I have a story about that road. When we first moved here, we stayed in an apartment downtown in the Galleria area, but we were waiting for our house to get finished over here where we live. Our kids were going to public school at that time. We ended up pulling them out. But I don't like to drive. And I was driving the kids from the Galleria down that road he's talking about to the school that they were going to be in. So it's like an hour. Well, then it was probably like an hour because I was going against
but it's still like 40 some odd miles.
Yeah, it's probably maybe close between 45 minutes and an hour it would take us. So we had to get up much earlier to get down to the school in time. I really felt bad for the kids because they were little then. They were in 2nd and 3rd grade, I think.
So it's 2016. So they would have been 7 and 8. So yeah, 2nd and 3rd grade.
So it was still dark out when we were leaving. It was early. And I remember I was trying not to get frustrated because we were all running behind and I knew we were going to be late. We were leaving much later than we normally were. And I was just kept telling myself, like, this is hard on them. You know, this is new for us. We're not in our house yet. We're in a 2-bedroom apartment with none of our stuff. And so I was like, just calm down. Like, it's fine. We're going to be, it is what it is. So we're driving down the road and we get diverted off the highway. I'm freaking out because I don't like to drive already. This is somewhere I don't normally go. We're getting diverted off the route. And then when we were getting back on, I saw why there was this horrible accident that took up the whole road. I was like, oh my gosh, if we hadn't been, I mean, we could have been involved in that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know, but it's just something you think about when things aren't going your way. Maybe there's a reason sometimes.
Georgie wants to know, are you working on the wonky flower table runner?
So this is Monique from Open Gate Quilts. Let me make sure, because I make up names for stuff. And
Tilted Charm Club, baby.
Well, yes, but this is, it's the spring tilted flowers. So this is what, can I see if I'm in camera for holding it up?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so it's a wall hanging. It's the tilted flowers. It's the Open Gate Quilt project for the Tilted Charm Club.
Maple Stitch wants to know, when you receive your subscription box, do you wash or starch your fabric before cutting it?
I do not wash the fabric. Now, these were all charms, so I didn't starch them even because if you do, they could shrink and you need them to be the right size. So I didn't wash any of this fabric and I didn't starch the charms, but I did starch lightly the yardage that was in there. I almost always starch yardage and then press it. But I never starch pre-cuts.
Zaza says traffic where she lives is still not back to pre-COVID levels, even on the worst days. That would be amazing.
We will move.
She's somewhere in the UK, Scotland, I believe.
Oh.
So
I'm actually surprised. It seems like a lot of people around here must have gone back to working in the office because
traffic here is worse than it's ever been.
Yeah. I think in some places people have still been able to work at home and stuff, and I just honestly think for some jobs that's smarter because then you don't have to pay for as much office space and stuff like that. I mean, obviously there's some jobs you need to be there for, like if you're a doctor or, work at a restaurant or something, but grocery store or whatever, but some jobs just work at home.
Yes. So Andrea says, is there a way to order without going through Etsy? So since we're practically neighbors. We're not on Etsy anymore, I don't think. So we're on Shopify, which is who hosts our shop. If you live locally, you can shoot me an email, info@SoBeItQuilts. Let me know specifically where you live. And we can arrange like a drop off or a pickup for whatever you order. Within reason, like I'm not going to drive an hour to give you something. No offense. Love to meet you, but I hate driving. So driving an hour anywhere is not something I want to do. But if you're local or if you're in an area where we go to Austin every so often, so just email us and we can figure it out. We've done that a couple times for people that like literally live. There's someone that lives in our town that has bought a couple things. So we just literally take the golf cart and drop it off her house. Funny story. So she ordered something. The first time she ordered something, she ordered it at like 1 p.m. and we get the order and I'm like, oh, okay, I looked at it and I was like, oh, she's in the same town. I'm like, I'll just take the golf cart over there. She orders it like whatever 1 p.m. So 1:30 p.m. we show up at her house because I wanted to package it. Because she bought a couple things, I think. So I show up, I knock on the door, and her husband answers the door, and he's looking at me. He's like, "Who the hell?" Because we live in a town where you can't get in and solicit. So I'm sitting there with something right to hand off, and I'm clearly not a UPS or FedEx driver. And he's like, "What?" He was just looking at me like he wanted to shoot me. And I was like, "Hey, sir, I'm here to deliver something for your wife." And he gave apparently not the right thing to say. And he like starts scowling at me. And then I hear his wife running in from the back. And she's like, "It's okay. It's okay. I ordered some quilting stuff." So he begrudgingly got out of the way and she, thanked us. It was funny though. Because he was 75 years old. Like if he swung at me, it would not have gone well for him. I wouldn't have hit him back. I'd have just, parried his hand away. But he was definitely not happy with it. So
people around here do not like when somebody unexpected arrives, though.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. Like one of the benefits of living here is you can't. If you don't live here, you can't get into the town. So if anyone ever sort of knocks on the door, I'm really pissed off because I would be expecting someone if they're coming. Sometimes what happens is if someone gets in, so if we need a plumber, for instance, I'll put him on the security list so that he can get in. And then that plumber will come. But sometimes those people, maybe not plumbers, but like landscapers and such that are already here for someone else, they'll like go and try and knock on people's doors and then they get kicked out of the community. But it's not normal to have people knocking on your door here.
Andrea lives in Alvin.
I have no idea. So, Andrea, I don't know where that is. You could be 15 minutes away. I don't know. I'm really bad at Texas geography because I'm a homebody. So we've lived here 8 years now. That's ridiculous. But I have no idea where Alvin is.
So I see Amy and Donnell.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Donnell I saw earlier. So I'm trying to catch up on the chat now since I went on the story of a 75-year-old man that tried to beat me up. Siberian Wind, who, by the way, you were on Sean's. It was Saturday, right? Am I right? I think you were on Sean's.
It was recent, yeah.
I think it was Saturday.
Oh, maybe my thread came out again.
Oh, no. She says she got her Slidelock ruler and used it on her tutorial. Oh, thank you so much.
I have to go check that out. I've been in editing. I don't know.
Yeah, you've been trying to get that dessert star thing down.
I was going to say something naughty, but I'm not going to.
But she said it makes cutting on her most painful days possible. So that is my favorite part about the Slidelock. Let's see.
So the tutorial, once you get the little squares together, or the pattern says to press, one of them to one side, the other to the other side. I just press these center ones open since these are so small. I like to press that seam open so that everything lays a little flatter, but you can follow the pattern too and press them to opposite sides so they nest. But I found that when I'm working with these little tiny squares, I like to press seams open sometimes. I don't normally press open because then I burn myself. But
Christy P says she's in Central RX. I'm not sure if that means Texas or Arkansas. Sprinkling here and loving the cooler weather. I am with you.
Cool.
She says she loves watching and learning from you. So that's definitely for you, not me, because I don't teach anyone anything.
You could if you wanted to.
I think half my I fail half my students. So funny story. So I recently got a university-wide award. I won the Faculty of the Year award.
Oh, that was funny because they sent him a.
They
sent you a tumbler, and our daughter came. She was like, "Why'd you get this?" Because it had the school on it, and he was like, "Oh, I was voted Professor of the Month or something." I don't remember what you said, but you were joking.
Yeah. So back up real quick. 2 weeks ago on Monday, I get one of these in the mail, but it's got the university logo on it. And I'm like, why did they send me this? Because there wasn't really, it was just thank you for being great, basically, was in the box. And so my daughter asked me, and jokingly, I was like, oh, I got Professor of the Year as a total joke. The next day, I get an email from the dean saying, you've been voted Professor of the Year. So I was like, oh, cool. Well, that's nice.
You just knew.
But it's funny because I always joke, I am a very strict critic of writing. And I teach classes where people have to write a lot. And I don't know what it is about the younger generation, but they're not being taught how to write properly. And I teach juniors and seniors, so in college. And if they can't write in my class, I don't care. I will give them resources, but I'm still going to give you an F if you turn in something that's written by a 7th grader.
To be fair, though, I see him sometimes grading, and he puts tons of notes on there for how to fix stuff and everything. So it's not like you're just well, you failed, but you try to help them. Yeah.
So an introductory paper for this course is 5 pages, and most people will get 12 pages back of notes on how to write better. So I literally, I've looked this past semester, I had 48 students and 27 failed. So I've never thought I would get an award because students hate me. It's weird. So my faculty reviews, I either get 0s or I get 10s. There's nobody in the middle. But apparently they thought, happy to give me the Professor of the Year award. And all I got was a little mug, although it's downstairs. Because I like this one better. Yeah,
but some of them have said that they really appreciate you taking the time to teach them how to write better and stuff.
That's true. But so Andrea says she is between Houston and Galveston. That's Houston's big enough. That could be a 3-hour drive or a 1-hour drive.
I've heard of Alvin, though. I think that's where Cindy lives.
Oh, it may be. So. I think that's also where our realtor, I forgot her name now.
Because I know it can't be too far because Cindy comes over here to the Quilter's cottage. So
yeah, that's true. Yes.
All right. So now I'm putting the little stem or leaves. No, these are the leaves on the bottom of the flower. It's a little wonky, but putting a little border around it so it'll work out.
Welcome, Jay Klein Atland.
Trying to slide up the seams.
And Siberian Wind confirmed that it was the Saturday that she was on shots. Thoughts?
You have a better memory than I do.
That's true.
So I'm going to press this seam open too after sewing the leaves on. The pattern does show you which way to press the seams if you don't like pressing open. I just, like I said, with these tiny, tiny pieces, I often will press them open. And I'm using this starch pin to get the seams to lay flat for me.
Joey T says, some of the strictest professors are always remembered and appreciated for years because you learn so much from them. I hope so. I try to teach my students as best I can. Like I said, I have students that hate me, and that's fine. This past semester, I had a student, I'm not even sure. Well, I don't understand higher education today because when I was in college, if you didn't have above a 2.0, I graduated 3.98 9, 8 or something. I have 1 A- in college. Really know. But like I had a guy that I lived with freshman year who did not have above a 2.0, and they kicked his ass out. But I had a student this past semester taking my course, and she turned in her first essay, and not only was it poorly written, and I'm talking capitalization errors, no punctuation. I mean, I'm not sure this person was literate, so I'm not even sure how she got into college, but she did. But aside from the bad grammar and syntax, she didn't follow the directions. And this was a particular assignment that people in the past, I've taught this class 20 times, and the first several times I taught it, there were always people missing things. So I put 3 different reminders. I emailed all the students. I made an announcement in the course. I talked about it. I put everything in bold, like stressed what they had to do. And she didn't follow any of the directions. So I emailed her, said, look, you got an F. I'm very disappointed because I really want you to do well, and you didn't follow any of the directions. And then on top of that, we really need to work on your writing. And the fact that I said I was disappointed pissed her off. So she went to her advisor and complained that I was being racist, sexist, and I didn't even know what anyway. So her advisor reaches out to me and says, I'm really sorry. Like, she does this to everybody. And I was like, look, let's just get her help. And she emailed me back, the student, saying, I'm never going to listen to you, so you can give me all the comments you want, but I'm not taking your advice at all. And she ultimately ended up getting an F. But it's just like, she couldn't write a complete sentence. It was horrible.
I just don't know. I feel like when I had to pay for college myself, I was very committed to doing well. But I feel like now, since you don't often have to pay for it yourself, like, I feel like people don't commit. It's just like, I'm doing this because I'm supposed to, rather than really wanting to be there. But so I'm going to put the border around the flower so that it can tilt. And the pieces that I'm using for the red flowers are so if you're following the pattern, it's the pieces that are cut out of the rectangle that starts at the top right and is cut down to the bottom left. So those are the ones that you use for the red flowers. And then those go counterclockwise around the flower. So I'm going to start along the right side of the flower. You want to hang over the first border at least an inch, and then you're going to stop about 1.5 inches away because you'll need that opening to sew on the final border.
Charlotte said she spent last weekend in Corpus, so it was a nice getaway.
You were over there recently, weren't you?
No, so our daughter was invited to a recruiting camp at the University or Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Yeah, that's right. But y'all ended up not being able to go.
Yeah,
it was canceled.
We couldn't go, so
yeah.
We didn't end up going. But
I felt like you were supposed to be over
supposed
there.
Carla says she did the same for her students. She insisted that essay math questions be in complete sentences. Pet peeve is redundancy. I agree with both of those. If you're going to write something, if there's a word-based answer, it needs to be in complete sentences that are written well. And don't say in 10 words what you can say in 5. Like, just be very concise, get your words out, be done, and don't say the same shit over and over again.
So I had a teacher in high school that was very, very, very strict, much more strict than all of my other teachers. And down to, he would, for each lesson, there would be definitions. What was this class? It was either geometry or trig. I may have had him for both, actually. But he would always start off the lessons with definitions. We had to write them down word for word. And then when we would have the test, we would have to, the first couple questions would be those definitions. It would just have the word, and we would have to write out the definition word for word. But he made this very clear. He was, it wasn't like it was a surprise if you didn't put the definition down word for word. And I remember once I either left out a word like a or and or something like that on one of them, and I was so mad. I got it wrong. I was like, it doesn't change the meaning of the definition. And I talked to him and he's like, nope, you get that one wrong. And I was so upset because I was always a straight A student. I would get everything right. And I was so mad. And later when I went to college, I was back home visiting and he lived down the road from where my parents moved. And I saw him out and I went and thanked him. I was like, thank you so much for being so strict. Because later when I was in college, I realized how important it was because, you know, like at the beginning of the year, you would get this, what was it called? Like a syllabus or something that told you everything you needed for class. And if you didn't keep track of your own stuff, you'd fail. Like you had to learn all that.
So Maple Stitch, have I ever experienced anyone turning an essay that was written by ChatGPT or some form of AI? Yes. So the university I work for uses very sophisticated software to pick up on things like that. And I would say out of 50 students a semester, I probably have 3 to 4 instances per class or per semester of students cheating. I
almost forgot. Okay, don't forget this part. You have to put the stem on. Oh, I was about to mess that up. Why didn't you remind me? You helped me with it before.
Well, because I wanted you to be your own person.
So there's little strips that have heat and bond on the back that I cut, and these are for the stem. So I just line this up along the seam under the flower that goes down to the petals. And I actually did it on the other side and just kind of drew that angle on the back of the heat and bond and cut that little point.
And then you just cut it to size once you have that.
Yeah. Okay. You can go back to talking about the chat.
Yeah. So our software picks up cheating. Like the most recent example was an essay that was turned in and it didn't make any sense, right? It used all of the right keywords because it was a legal essay, but like the conclusions and how they drew the conclusions from the facts made no sense. And so ran it through. So it was already pre-flagged by our system. So when the students submit papers, they have to do so electronically and it goes through our system and it flagged it. And I always read them because sometimes they get flagged for some students. So for every essay that my students have to write, I will give them an outline that they can just basically fill in because I try to make things easy for them. And it makes grading much easier for me because if I'm asking 10 different legal questions, using the template that I provide has all of the subparts written out. So all they have to do is fill in the information and it's very easy for me to figure out where the answers are. So I'm not having to search through paragraphs. So sometimes if a student uses my template and it submits, it'll get flagged because it'll match 500 other papers that were submitted because it has all the same words in it. But this one didn't make any sense and ran it through and I submitted it to the academic investigation and they're like, yeah, this was ChatGPT. And they had seen that same essay like 5 or 6 different times. So,
it probably just generates pretty much the same. Like when people put in whatever, because I think you just put in whatever information you're needing it to write an essay about, and then it probably just regurgitates the same thing over and
over. Janice wants to know if she will be kicked off if she says she finds that kids today have little desire for education. No, I think kids have a desire for status and they have a desire for a degree, but they do not have the desire to work and earn the degree. They just want it to be given to them. That's my take. I don't get kicked off.
I think it's so hard now because I don't feel like they really think they need to know a lot because you can just
look
Google and see what everything is.
Yeah, but that's just, I want to be able to have a face-to-face conversation with someone without having them have to pull up their phone every time to look something up.
No, I get it. I just think things have changed so much and it makes it really hard. Like
it is. Jackie says her dad was a math professor at Embry-Riddle and students had to show their work and most never did.
So my favorite movie. Well, it's not my favorite movie, but I love that scene in the movie.
I will admit, so I'm a math major, applied and computational math was my major. I'm a math geek. I'm a math freak. I never showed my work because it's so much. I was a kid in class that if we had a math test, I wanted to be the first one finished so that I could put my paper down, go turn it in, and everyone else would go, ooh and ah, how did you finish the test so quickly? So I never showed my work.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
No. Luckily, it never really bit me in the ass because the teachers sort of knew I was really good at math. And if I could give them all the right answers in 15 minutes, they just sort of assumed that I didn't cheat, which I never did. And then when I got into college, like the sort of math that I was doing was not math that, like the equations and such that I specialized in were such that you could fill literally like 10 pages for one problem. So the teacher just wanted you to submit the answer. So I never really had an issue with needing to fill my work.
I had a lot of professors and like teachers in high school that wanted you to show the work. I understood it because a lot of the time they wanted to see where you went wrong if you got the wrong answer, so they could show you where you went wrong. A lot of times it's because you forgot to, note that there was a negative and then you did math wrong or whatever. But I completely understood it, because how else are they going to help you with where things went awry?
Yeah. Andrea says she went to college for 8 years, got a bachelor's and 2 MBAs, 3.9 GPA. That's what I'm talking about. She remembers the professors that were down to earth and interacted with them, but those who did not remember our names, she does not remember. I think that's fair. Like, I try to remember and interact with all my students. I teach legal classes, so I always tell my students, hey, if you're going to go to law school, then you need to develop a relationship with me. Call me, talk, office hours, whatever, because you're going to need recommendations in order to get into law school. And I'm happy to do it if I know you well. Like, if you get a C in my class, I will say that you got a C, but I will happily tell them you're a good person. I've only had like 2 kids take me up on it, which is dumb because I know many of them want to go to law school. But
all right, I'm working on the next red flower. So there are 3 red flowers in this quilt and 2 blue. I haven't made any of the blue ones yet. Sorry.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I like the blue.
You mean green?
Well, yeah, that's definitely green.
I think you could easily swap out, like if you like blue more than red, you could definitely do 3 blue flowers and 2 red, or all blue flowers if you wanted to.
Mona says hi.
Hi, Mona.
Hi, Mona. She didn't say hi to me. She just said hi to you. But I'm still saying hi. Someone else asked, Joy T says, crazy question. Do lawyers really read all those law books they have in their offices? Most lawyers suck, Joy T. So I'm going to say no, they don't, because they don't know how to practice law properly.
I think all those law books are for show now, though, because don't you guys look all that stuff up on that program online now?
Yeah, I mean, so there's research platforms that we can do.
Throw that in the trash. I don't even know what I'm doing.
I've read all the books that I have in my office, because all the books I have in my office are very specific to the work that I do. But I've gone into like lawyers' offices who have like their textbooks from law school still. And so, sure, all of my textbooks from law school that are those big volumes that are, 3,000 pages long, I had to read all those because we had to for law school. But I would never keep them and keep them around, because those books, right, are from law school. So that they're over 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever it is in my case. The cases that are in there are no longer going to be valid, or they're surely not going to be the new law. Not to mention, some of the cases in those books are from the 1800s because they're, foundational
just teaching you stuff.
So outside of maybe constitutional lawyers that practice strictly in a constitutional law, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth, Sixth, Eighth, although Eighth and Sixth typically practice together. I would think no. Most people don't. They just have those books for show to be like, haha, I'm smarter than you. It's like, dude, you don't even know what those books are. So, but I'm a law nerd. Like, I could talk constitutional law all day long. I love reading Supreme Court opinions, figuring out how they're coming to their conclusions, why.
Who was it? Somebody in our last one said they love following the Supreme court stuff. They were watching for that.
I don't
I don't
know.
remember. I only like criminal law, and he does not.
Carla,
that fascinates me.
yeah, I don't. I like constitutional criminal stuff. So if we're talking about the confrontation clause, Miranda rights, those I'm okay with. But like the stuff you like I don't care who killed who. Like we all know who did.
I don't care, so per se. I just find it fascinating, like juries and what gets allowed in court and all that kind of stuff. I find fascinating.
Carlos says the greatest answer she ever got from a student who did not show their work was God gave it to me.
That's a try.
Good evening, Sean. He showed up.
Sean. Sean had this really cool video go up about this quilt that looks like a burger.
So what? No, I love burgers. What happened? And I'm hungry again. I don't know why.
So I have not made a meal in quite a while because he's been cooking a lot because he works from home. He's a much better cook than me. And since he had to go in the office today, I cooked and it was not very good at all. We were, I think, all disappointed.
It was not bad. It just wasn't good.
It wasn't. It was edible. It looked a lot better than it tasted too.
It did. It looked really good. Joy T wants to know, what is the easiest type of law to do? Real estate divorce. No, any family law is just I have a friend from law school who owns a family law practice.
And that changes a lot, doesn't it?
The same, yeah. The laws change all the time. There's all sorts of treaties and such. Now, aside from the law itself being a bit complicated, the personalities and having to deal with divorce and child issues. Now, shit's horrible. I don't know much about real estate. I don't practice in it. If I were looking to start a new practice from scratch, it would definitely be bankruptcy law. I've done bankruptcy in the past, mostly bankruptcy fraud, but bankruptcy law is very simple. Personal bankruptcy, not restructuring corporate stuff. But for people that are filing bankruptcy Chapter 7s themselves, there's literally a software that you buy. It's a partner of the U.S. government. You pay like $2,000 for it, and it gives you all the forms that you basically just give to the person who's filing bankruptcy, have them fill it out themselves. You read over them, you sign them, and then you send them to the court. It's the easiest job ever. So if someone is looking into getting into the law or start their own practice, setting up a practice where they practice bankruptcy is the best because it's a very easy, and people are always filing bankruptcy individually. So it's a great way. So to me, that is the easiest because unless you have a shitbag client who is really trying to defraud the government, which you should be able to suss out when you look at the documents, no one ever challenges bankruptcies. So it's very personal bankruptcies that are filed in Chapter 7. Very easy. You can charge $5,000 a bankruptcy.
How do you charge if they're
because they're allowed to. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it, but most people around here will charge $5,000 for bankruptcy, and it's like 5 hours of work, and they don't ever have to do anything. So it's like that's the greatest. If you're gonna start a new law practice.
You like employment stuff though.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
Well, it's
true. Very difficult, but I like it. Jeannie, I'm hoping I pronounced your name correctly, wants to know what size trim lock you're using to square up your block. So that is not a trim lock, that is the quilt lock.
No, this one's the
so which one is that?
So this I'm cutting, that's the
that's the paper piecing ruler.
Yeah,
I thought it was quilt lock. What's the other one though?
It's the 6.5.
6.5. But the one that you see on screen right now is a 6-inch paper piecing ruler.
I'm using it for the 1/4 inch line on it so that I can trim off the flipped little corners. What are our questions?
I'll get to them in a second. I'm still trying to catch up on
chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't. I need to remember to put my glasses on because I put it up, but I can't see.
We already did that one. Sorry. Jackie, do I watch any of the Law Tubers? No, my wife does.
I love Emily D. Baker. There's some other ones that I watch, but I'm really bad with names, so that's the one I remember because a lot of them that I watch it's not their name. It'll say different stuff like like the whatever lawyer or something. But she's the one who I watch all the time. I watched all the Alex Murdaugh trial with her. She's my friend. She just doesn't know it.
Georgie says there's some great laws from the 1800s. Did you know that in New Jersey you still have to clean your horse's poop up when you ride your horse into town?
We have a game that does those, and I love that game.
We have a game. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically it's got.
Is it Balderdash? Is that
no? I don't think so. But anyway, there's 5 categories, and one of the categories is like crazy laws, and so it'll give you a prompt like in New Jersey it is illegal to ... and then you've got to guess what it is, and it's a great game.
I'm not pressing these the right way. Why'd you give me wine while I'm sewing?
I don't know. Probably not the best.
I pressed that one the right way. That's good.
So Joey T, that's actually a good question. She wants to know about Joanne's bankruptcy. So
I was really bummed to know when he explained it to me because well, not bummed. It made me really mad. Part of it.
So a couple things. So Joanne's did in fact file for bankruptcy. They did so 2 days ago. And like I said, I'm a law nerd, so like there are some things, and because it's Joanne's, I sort of looked into it. So Joanne's filed for Chapter 11, which means that they are going to reorganize. So there's typically at a very high level, there are 2 types of bankruptcies, 7 and 11. 7 is where you have no assets in your companies can file Chapter 7. But mostly it's individuals and companies that are just going to close up and say, look, we're done doing business. We don't have any money. And they sell everything off and the company stops in existence. There's Chapter 9, which is a different type. There's Chapter 15, which is for farms. And so there's other stuff too. But typically it's 7 and 11. 11 is a reorganization where the company says, look, we want to continue doing business. We're not profitable. We have a lot of debt. So we want to get a pass on some of our debt, and then we want to reorganize to become more efficient so that we can pay back other creditors. That's what Joanne did. So Joanne, I don't know if they're going to go strictly online. I don't know if they're going to close half their stores and try and become much more efficient by using a smaller footprint. I don't 100% know yet. I haven't looked at the bankruptcy filings because I haven't had a chance. But what they did, so a couple of weeks ago, it was announced that they were, beginning of March, that they were likely going to file bankruptcy because they appointed a new board member who is an expert in restructuring, which is something that you do when you're about to file bankruptcy because it's a long process and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. The frustrating part is, and this is really annoying, and we could go on about corporate greed, and I'm a capitalist, so I'm not, saying that making money is bad, but this is a company who 3 weeks ago said that they were preparing to file bankruptcy. They hire a new board member, and then they give a $400,000 bonus to one of their executives to stay on to help with the bankruptcy. And it's sort of like, if you're telling people that you're going to have to fire them because you don't have enough money to keep them on board, why are you paying a $400,000 bonus to someone to help you file bankruptcy? So
that's
some of those issues get a bit frustrating.
So they're likely staying in business though, then, right?
Yeah. So the only reason you file 11 is so that you can stay in business. Now, I handled a bankruptcy last year. I do the litigation that arises out of the bankruptcy. I'm not the one filing the bankruptcy documents because that's a whole other thing I wouldn't want to do for a corporate restructuring. But the company that I was representing, they filed for 11, and then their restructure didn't work out because they couldn't get bank loans, basically, because the banks didn't believe that they were going to be profitable. So they had to switch from an 11 to a 7, and then they ultimately closed. So just because they filed for 11 does not mean that they will continue to do business. It means their intention is to continue to do business. But if their reorganization plan isn't accepted by banks, then they won't have capital to reorganize, and then they'll just close.
I'm not pressing these all in the right direction.
Oh, no.
It's like everybody, I think, was thinking that they were going to shut down because they're doing all those sales.
Yeah.
And a lot of the groups that I'm in for quilting and stuff, a lot of people were buying a lot of stuff because they're having all these big sales, I guess, so they could pay that one person.
Yes. Mark Jacobs says Monique. Oh, so that's Monique's husband. Monique's husband is watching. It says go blue. Go blue, Mark. That's awesome. Go blue. Sean says if you have a Joann's gift card, he'd go ahead and spend it just in case. I agree with that.
Yeah, that was going on in a lot of the groups too. People talking about that.
Okay. So question number 1 is, and this is a weird one. I don't know where I came up with this or why I came up with it. But what is your favorite smell?
Any fall scent.
Oh, like pumpkin spice, cranberries, and stuff.
Yeah, any of those. I probably, if I had to choose one, vanilla would probably be up there.
So I don't know why I came up with this question, and I honestly
you were hungry for baking cookies or something.
No, I don't bake at all. I cook. I don't bake. I think my favorite smell is probably. I really like the smell of fresh roses, like real ones that you grow yourself that actually have a scent.
We have really nice ones in Michigan.
Yeah, not the ones that you buy from the store that don't smell like anything. But I grew up. We had a garden where I grew up, and we had 30 different types of rose bushes. And I loved going out into the little garden area and just being able to smell roses. That was great. Okay, so we have, let's see what we got here. Guess who Nancy says roses. So she and I are on the same page. Sean says coffee.
I love coffee.
Janice says lavender or peppermint. So Janice, I'm gonna just let you know I'm allergic to lavender. So I effing hate this stuff.
Such a bummer because I love lavender. So I found these pillows that are supposed to help you sleep really well, but they're infused with lavender, and I couldn't buy them because he would have a rash.
You could buy them, you just couldn't use them. Amy, you're creepy. She says the top of a baby's head. Babies do smell awesome, though. Vicky Bush says coffee. Sophia says dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Another coffee. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Cindy Van Oy says the smell of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland.
Huh.
I've been on it. The only smell I remember is like
gunpowder.
No, I remember the smell of the water because you're like on a little raft as you go through the thing.
I'm trying to think because it's been so long.
Zaza says washing dried outside on washing on clothes maybe outside on a summer's day. Baby powder or vanilla. So fresh baked bread. That's a good one. Yeah, fresh. Why is it so hard to say fresh baked bread?
Because you're having wine.
No, it's because yeah, it's not because of that. Or chocolate, Jergens lotion, coffee, homemade Italian sauce or lasagna. I love that. Apple cinnamon, banana cream pie. Banana cream pie have a smell? I don't have to check because I might have one. First grade bread, flavored coffee, cooked. I'm assuming onions from Bambi. Horse barn. Okay, Maple, I'm going to have to, we may not be able to be friends. I do not like the way horses smell.
Any barn animal.
Old Spice. I do love Old Spice. Back in the day, Brute. I'd like all the, 12-year-old boys that think they need to shave. Brute was another, or Drakkar.
I don't know anything about any of that.
Drakkar is like the $10 cologne that you can buy in the black bottle from like Walmart. Or not Walmart, like Walgreens. Amy hates lavender too. I knew we were kindred spirits, Amy. Eucalyptus is good. That's true. I do love eucalyptus. Fresh laundry, puppies. I like young puppies that are not dirty. But once they get dirty, it's not a good smell.
Did you read Mark's?
I love the smell of fear. Yes, of the Wolverine's opponents. Mark, you and I are going to get along very swimmingly. I don't know how much we're going to be smelling that this upcoming year with all of the changes on the team, but we'll see. Eucalyptus tree, bromine, and gunpowder. I do love gunpowder.
All right, so I have 2 of them, the little squares with the flipped corners pressed in, and then 2 pressed out so that everything comes together nicely.
So Andrea has like a whole list. We've got Dove pink bath soap. I don't know. I use regular Dove, so I don't know about the pink one. Cashmere bouquet dusting powder. I don't know what that is. Cherry pipe tobacco. Don't know that. Oh, because they all remind her of someone. Okay, that makes sense. And I do find it really interesting that scent seems to be the most visceral, the sense that gives you the most visceral reaction.
Oh yeah.
Like sound of or the sense of taste. Yeah, I can remember certain things. Sound, sure, but smell will bring me back 30, 40 years just by smelling something that I remember.
The smell of a skunk always reminds me of North Dakota.
Which is unfortunate because there's skunks everywhere, and South Dakota is the superior Dakota.
Well, at least it doesn't remind me of South Dakota then. But
yes,
no, it's just I think it must be the first time I ever really smelled one, or maybe my uncle got sprayed with one there, and then I have to get some more starch in this pen.
A lot of roses, so people are. I like that. Roses and coffee seem to be the 2 most.
And you don't like coffee.
I don't like coffee. I can't stand it. I've tried it once and I was all done. I couldn't do it. So now we're moving into what is your favorite flower? So surprisingly, mine is not the rose. Mine is Lily of the Valley because I, 1, like the name, and 2, I think it's really pretty.
I like hydrangeas.
Which color? High pH or low pH?
Okay, so I remember that person explained it all to us, like which ones turn the colors and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I don't care what color they are. I just think they're pretty. Ours were blue, right?
We had both because we varied the nitrogen content of the soil.
Okay, well I don't remember that.
Okay, so Guess Who Nancy is Rose. That's her favorite. Jean is roses.
In that movie, Bed of Roses, those sterling roses were so pretty.
We used to have those in our garden.
Ones.
Yeah. The silvery lavender ones. Lilac, morning glories.
You can't talk today. You're struggling.
That's because of my fucking tooth.
Oh, yeah.
It's cutting my tongue. Sunflower. Oh, a lot of sunflowers. Gerbera daisies. I'm going to have to look that up, Amy, because I do not know what those are. A bearded iris, just on the name alone, those are not my favorite flowers.
No.
I'm going to have to look one up now. But any flower that has a beard is good on me. Oh, yeah, those are pretty. I could go with that. Yellow rose, peony flowers, hydrangeas. No, a couple hydrangeas. Hibiscus.
They're so pretty.
Lilac, roses, because of Wolverine. Mark is on fire. Roses, because the Wolverines won the Rose Bowl. Yes, we did. Peonies. Chocolate lily is pretty, but not apparently a good smell. Peony.
Does it smell like chocolate?
I don't know. I didn't even know there was a chocolate lily. Lily of the Valley, so Cheryl's on my side of that one. Sean doesn't know what the name of it is, but it's an Australian native flower. Alexandra's rhododendrons, azaleas, hyacinths, hydrangeas, and magnolias. Magnolias are cool. I think they have like a very unique smell. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's very polarizing smell.
I think there's really any flower I don't like.
Yep. So Sean said he spent half the morning on the phone with Canadian Customs. Yeah. The CBSA, Canadian Border Services Agency, effing nightmare to deal with. So for all of you that live in Canada, I truly apologize. I would love to send stuff to you the CBSA is just a nightmare to deal with.
I'm sure it's no
So-
fun for them either, because then they have to spend so much money to get stuff.
Well, the Canadian government just fleaces their people. They just take money
I
out of
need you
people's
to
bank
mix me up more starch, because I didn't
I
have
don't
any
have
in
to.
that bottle.
Yeah, Joy T says she likes your answer that I'm drinking wine. No, so the on Monday evening, I grind my teeth a lot, probably because I was in the Marines and I have bad dreams. But I chipped one of my teeth, and I went to the dentist, and it's not in the nerve or whatever. But he's like, "Look, I can either." It's just on Tuesday, I went to the dentist, and he said I can fix it today, but I can't do it until 2 p.m. And I couldn't because I had a work commitment. So I have to go back on Friday. So since Tuesday, since Monday night, I've had basically one of my back molars is very sharp right now because it chipped. And so it's rubbing against my tongue and making it difficult to pronounce certain words. Purple bearded iris, yes.
I'm trying to look at that one to see which way I go then.
So Zaza, your gift thing, we tried that, and the CBSA was none too pleased with us. So
What happened?
if you mark items to Canada as a gift, they technically don't really look at them. Problem is the gift exemption for Canada is $60 or less. And our packages are obviously large enough that people think that they're worth more than $60. So and the gift thing only works if you send it from a personal address. All of our stuff gets sent from a corporate address because it's our company. So yeah, it's just.
Okay, I did sew it the right direction. My eyes are playing tricks on me
Why?
because I can't see.
Yeah, my wife cannot see. We need to start like not a GoFundMe. We don't need that, but we need like a petition, like a change.org
He's trying
to
to
convince my wife she needs to wear her glasses because she does not do it. She has 2 pairs and she never wears either of them.
I don't think that they're probably not even the right prescription anymore.
Well, then I told you last time when you took Lo to the eye doctor to get yours checked out.
It's just it takes too long. I'm not against wearing them really. It's just I never remember to.
You're against it because I've tried to find them for you. You're like, I don't know where they are.
They're right over there.
Where?
In that basket.
Go get them for you.
Well, I don't think they are the right ones.
Well, okay. So question number 3. If you had to teach a class on one topic, what would you teach? What do you got, babe?
I would love to teach baking, like baking bread and spreads and stuff.
You are so good at baking bread. Put these on, please.
They're dirty.
Well, you don't have a thing in there to clean them. Doesn't she look amazing, everybody?
It's not that I think I look silly with them, but there's going to be a glare from the, on them.
Amy says you need a glasses intervention. That is correct, Amy. We'll be in Austin in a couple weeks. We'll let you know, but we need you and Casey to intervene.
She got to meet Ian at
awesome.
Dallas Quilt.
Oh, that's right. She went to the quilt show.
Yeah.
Sean, I agree. We need a Canadian distributor, and I have asked around of our Canadian friends if they know anybody that would want to be our distributor, but no one has really helped us.
Well, I think the problem also is it's going to cost them so much money to get this stuff.
No, because if we go through a business to business, there's like other channels that we can do, so it's not so bad. And if I'm sending them 500 units, like it's not a big deal because the cost is amortized over all 50. Yeah, Daza says you're going to damage your eyes if you don't wear them, and you're straining your eyes. I agree. Okay, so Jean says she would teach grammar. So Jean, you and I on the same page. That's not what I would choose, but I love that you would teach.
He goes in and corrects my descriptions on the videos.
I do. I have to get grammar right. Joey T says microbiology. Wasn't that your favorite class in college?
I loved that class. I think most of my favorite classes though were just because of the teachers being really good. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what the topic is.
Kathy would want to teach dog training. Good for you, Kat. I love dogs. I could not train them because I love them so much that I would just give them treats and not make them do what they're supposed to. I would be the worst.
Too.
I would be the worst dog trainer in the world, but they would be the happiest dogs ever. So
she was talking about, what was it? Somebody was in one of the chats was talking about how I think it was Sean actually was mentioning how his wife had tried to pet one of the security dogs at the airport. Like just got hung up on, she knew she just got hung up on them. And Amy says she always has to tell herself when she goes to the airport not to pet the good puppies.
Mona would teach quilting. Bambi would do sewing. Siberian Wind, also something quilt related. Sean teach quilting techniques. He already does that though. So Cindy used to teach first grade, and reading was the greatest. I couldn't, if I were going to ever teach anything other than college, it would have to be high school, like seniors, because I could not deal with like first graders. I don't have the patience to sit around and teach things to people that are more concerned about the worms outside. Like I couldn't do it.
Bless the people who can, though. I loved being in the preschool when I was there.
Yes. Iman said she would teach color theory. I would love to learn about color theory because I know what colors I like and don't, but I know there's a whole science behind it that I don't understand.
I just slap things together that look nice to me.
Data management for Kitty. Amy says she has a video recap and chat with Ian that goes up at 8:15. So we've got 9 more minutes before we have to get off.
What is it?
Video recap with Ian.
Oh.
About, I'm assuming, the Dallas Quilt Show.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Catheter insertion, Judy.
No.
I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I'm guessing you were a nurse at some point, but
so if you're really good at it though, because we've all had somebody who's really good at drawing blood or shut up.
No, sorry, just Mark was say he'd want to teach Michigan football.
But I can appreciate that if you know how to do those things without being painful. Okay. I told myself I needed to remember this time to put the stem on before I started putting the border on this. So we are doing that.
Janice would want to teach writing and public speaking. Public speaking is one that I think everyone should have to take a public speaking course.
I had to, and
because
I hated it.
I loved mine. I didn't actually like public speaking before I took it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. I think you just have to get over the initial fear, and then you're fine. You sound like my husband, says Zaza. Thank you. I think. Hopefully you love your husband, and so that's a compliment, and not a dig. Let's see.
This is going to be the cutest wall hanging.
Amy says, when you were talking about the dog thing, she says, I do. I have to say it out loud to myself.
That was making me laugh. I'm pretty sure it was she was in the comments on Sean's live. I'm not sure, but it was so funny.
Debbie says international labor law. So I like employment law. I do not like labor law. They're very different things. I don't deal with labor law. Mm-hmm. Employment, sure. Labor, no. Home ec, Joanne Wilson, 3rd to 5th grade for Sean. Elementary is what Janice teaches, although she can do K through 2.
So cute. So I have that one. I just need to put the border on.
Zaza says she'd want to teach young kids before they get cynical and disillusioned. I like the cynical and disillusioned ones because then I can at least talk to them on a level that says, look, it all sucks, but here's how you deal with it from a legal perspective, at least. Amy would teach time efficiency. Nancy would want to, guess who Nancy would want to do a budgeting class.
Oh, that would be
nice. I think that is something that is lacking in most people's repertoire is knowing how to budget. If I was going to teach something, it would either be sports statistics, so I could teach people how to find betting advantages, or it'd be constitutional law. It's my favorite area of law. There's so many great constitutional cases. And my favorite class from law school, it was probably my 3rd favorite class, but I liked my favorite discussions came from con law because obviously constitutional issues are very polarizing, right? From a political perspective, you're on one side or the other. And some people are very fluid with, right? They can be politically, they could be very religious, but also pro whatever, right? So not everyone falls into a bucket that makes a whole lot of sense, which is perfect and it's great. It's what makes everything fun. But the discussions in con law would always get heated because they arise in you very visceral truths about yourself, right? Whether you're talking about the propriety of gay marriage, or if you're talking about gun rights, or if you're talking about abortion, people have very strong views on constitutional issues. And so the conversations were always great because you could truly see how passionate people were about issues. And at least in where I went to law school, nothing ever got personal. People weren't throwing insults at each other. It's very intelligent discourse.
Well, weren't people pretty open? Because didn't some of you take some of the people to like a gun range and stuff?
Yeah,
that were very against?
So I'm a Marine, right? I like to shoot things. It's very fun for me. It's cathartic. And one of the professors was an NRA member, and he loved guns. And so he taught a course on gun control, which was all the constitutional issues dealing with gun control. And there were 15 students, and 3 of the people in the class were gun fanatics, myself, a buddy of mine, and then another guy. And then the other 12 people in the class hated guns. And what we ended up doing is I'm an NRA certified firearms instructor, or was. I'm not anymore. I taught people how to shoot in the Marines. I was a sniper, so I'm pretty good at the gun stuff. So anyway, we had a class trip to go out to a gun range, and we did. And 10 of the 12 people that hated guns ended up loving them. And they had a great time. And I actually had a couple people after the class trip just come up to me and say, hey, can you take me out shooting again? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. Because if you do it in a safe environment with people who know what they're doing, it can be very enjoyable. But con law would probably be it, because it's just a great way to get people thinking about things. And
I didn't even sew this down.
Oh no!
It must be bobbin thread. I was very confused. Oh no, I don't have any full.
Well, we have to get going soon because I'm about to fall asleep because I'm so tired.
Well, I mean, I already showed the other ones. So what I'm going to do is either have a video go up showing this wall hanging all finished and everything, and show how to put the hanger on. If I don't get it done by the next live, I'll probably just do it on the live. But I did promise someone I would show how I put a hanging sleeve on it. So it'll happen either in a tutorial or on the next live.
Thank you, Monique. She says that she sent everyone that was in the subscription box class over to see us.
Oh, thank you.
And for any of you that don't know, Monique is Open Gate Quilts. She makes some of the best subscription boxes, and it's what we are working on tonight.
And Mark is Mr. Open Gate Quilts.
Yes. So Kitty Scott, curious, have you taught your children gun safety and how, asking as an NRA member? Yes, when our kids
Oh my goodness, it was like a whole ordeal.
So I took them to an actual gun safety course meant for kids, taught them the gun safety rules, and I'm a firearms instructor myself, so I have fake guns, right?
They look real though.
They 100% look real, but they're made out of polymer, and you can't pull them. There's no way to load them. They're just solid.
They're weighted too.
So they feel just like a real gun. So when I'm taking someone to the range to teach them how to shoot, we use that so they don't accidentally shoot me. So I would hide that gun, or not hide. I would put the gun in our house. It's a fake gun. It could never hurt you. I mean, you could throw it at something. But I'd put it on the stairs, or I'd put it like outside of their room. And like, if they didn't immediately upon seeing it scream gun, 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 like yell daddy for me to come and get it, then we would talk about it. They did every time though.
There was other things, but that was like a big one. But even because I have no interest. I'm not like afraid of guns or anything like that. I just have no interest. And I'm like, he's taken me to shoot because he wanted me to know what it feels like. But I don't even know our safe combination because he won't let me have it, because I'm not trained to his liking with them. So
No, I'm the only
he's
person.
very serious about that.
The only
kind of
person
stuff.
in the house that knows how to get into the gun safe. We have multiple gun safes, but I'm the only one that has the code. No one else does. All of our guns are locked up. And when my kids got old enough, I took them each to the range to learn how to handle a firearm, so that if they were ever in a situation where that for some reason became an issue, which hopefully it never does, they would at least know what to do. But yeah, no one in our house has access to the guns but me. We've got a 2,000-pound safe that has all of the stuff, and we have another one somewhere else that's hidden. But yeah, so once your kids are old enough to understand what a gun is, it's important to teach them that they're not allowed to touch them, that they need to tell an adult if they see one, that it's not a toy. So, but NRA and other organizations do training for children specifically that is age appropriate. So if that's something you're concerned about, I would look into your local area. I'm sure they have, options to teach children about how dangerous they are and to keep their hands off of them.
And it's important, I think, because even if you don't have them and don't plan to, you never know whose house they may be at. I mean, hopefully you know them, but you may not know all that to know if they have any that they may keep out that the kids can find under beds or whatever.
Yeah, it's all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so Zaza, the U.S. gun laws are very unique. Especially when you consider the UK, New Zealand, Australia. South Africa is a really weird one. They have very strict gun laws in some senses, and then they have other gun laws that are just even less strict than ours.
Hey, I can see the chat.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't want to get into a political discussion because I could argue both sides of gun control because there's legal aspects, there's constitutional aspects. I will say, though, that the U.S. is unique in the sense that we were literally a country founded on war, right? We became a country as a result of a war that was a planned war. It wasn't just sort of a spontaneous sort of thing. So gun culture in the U.S. is very unique. Some people will say that's very bad. Some people say it's good. I don't know that anyone says it's good, but there's a lot of things we can get into. I don't want to get political. I think that there's a lot of problems that could be fixed, but
so cute.
Yeah, it's a very different situation here than it is in other places.
But I think one thing though is.
Oh, Julie says you look great in glasses, by the way.
Thank you. That we all can agree that not everybody should have one.
No, absolutely. 100% on that. I'm definitely not for everyone having a gun.
So I have just the 2 blue flowers to sew them together. I already have all the borders. So some of the charms cut into little squares for the border, and the sashing and binding all cut. And let me show you again what it'll look like because it is so cute. Will you hold it up?
Yes.
I want to show. This also came with extra. Well, I mean, it came with a full charm pack. So the extra charms are for the backing, along with some other fabric to put along the sides of the charm. So I'll show that when I get it finished up. I'll definitely show it in the next live if I get it all finished. But like I said, if I don't get a tutorial done in time by then for the putting a hanger on the back of it, then I will do that live next week and show it.
Cool.
But hopefully I'll get it done by then because I'm going to want to hang it up because it's adorable.
And this is my bad, and obviously not trying to hammer this home. To the extent that you don't know about it, our 1-year anniversary as an online store is May 17th, May 19th. I don't remember what day it is. May 17th, 19th, something like that. Point is, we're giving a giveaway of a brand new Juki TL18 QVP. So not this exact machine, but there's a brand new one downstairs that we have in the box. So if you want to enter, you can make any purchase on our online store. There's a link in the description. Any purchase of any product there's no monetary minimum or anything. automatically enters you into the sweepstakes. There's also directions in the description of this video if you don't want to make a purchase. But the drawing will be on our live Wednesday, May 22nd, I believe, where we will announce the winner of the brand new Juki TL18 QVP, which was given to us for free by So Yeah Quilting. They generously donated it to us, so very thankful to them for that. But if you're interested, you can figure out how to enter either by clicking on the description in this video and finding out how to do that, or making any purchase on our website.
And the pattern I was working on tonight, again, was from Open Gate Quilts. It is their Tilted Charm subscription box. It is quarterly, so it doesn't come every month. You get a pattern to sew for spring, summer, fall, and winter. So they're themed by the seasons. And you get to know what they are ahead of time, so you're not surprised if you're not excited about a subscription box where you aren't sure what you get. This one, you'll know exactly what you're getting, which I think is really nice. And we can sew along together because I'll do these each time they come in. And I think there are still a few left. So did I remember to put a link to it in the description?
Of what?
To the Open Gate Quilt Tilted.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't remember. He got my bag on that one.
Yes. And then I just posted in the chat Amy's video where she speaks with Ian about his quilts that were in the Dallas Quilt Show.
Oh, thank you.
Just went up. So if you're not doing anything, or even if you are, please click that link to watch Amy's video, and you can learn all about Ian's quilts.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to be hopping off and going to bed.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
So we will see you next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
And I will either be working on this to finish it up or something else if I get it done and put a tutorial up. But I will be sewing something for sure.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. For anyone that is new or commented for the first time, thank you. And
thank you to everyone who keeps coming back, because we're always excited that we didn't bother you so much that you never came back.
Yes. And thank you to everyone who joined. I think Zaza, you joined. Mona did. Or Mona did last week.
Yeah.
So I feel like there were 2 people on this one.
You're missing someone.
I know. I'm so bad at this. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. Wednesday's my favorite night, so I had a great time. And look forward to next Wednesday.
All right. We'll see you then. Bye.